Okay, it's a special meeting. And there are three budget items for Mark Berry's department tonight on the agenda. And then there's 8 CIPs, but I believe there's really only about 3 or 4 because of what the town council has done on those accounts. So with that said, and Mark, you're all these other people are here for backup. Thank you so much for giving your time being here tonight. So the first item we have on our agenda tonight is account 1064, which is Park and Recreation. It is on page 154 of your budget book. And this budget item has already passed through the town council unscathed. So they didn't make any, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. Basically, the town council just I had no idea how much discussion there was, but they passed the town manager's request, which was $2,426,709. Am I correct on that, Mark?
That is correct. There was the only discussion that took place about this budget had to do with scholarships for those families that are struggling to to be able to balance putting food on the table, but also trying to be able to provide their family with recreational opportunities, kind of specifically like participating in summer camp.
And I just going to say up front, that's the one thing that jumped out at me in the budget book, that you were actually doing that, and my hat's off to Groton for doing that. That's really an important thing. I mean, I've coached all kinds of sports, and I'm really happy with seeing that in there. So I don't know how much bad discussion there was, but mine's only good. So
no, it was generally supportive, and I can tell you that we have surveyed other departments in the area, and there's some communities that don't provide any type of communities or departments that provide any type of financial assistance. So I think Groton is a leader in that area, in my mind.
We should be. Anyways, so
excuse me.
I'm going to open it up to everybody. Go ahead, Leanne.
What is that number for that line item?
Well,
$2,420,000. Oh, I'm sorry, for the volunteers. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll just shut up.
So what we had this year we had asked for an additional $10,000 in scholarship money. What's happened over the last couple of years is the council has committed to providing the department with $20,000 in support of scholarships. We asked for an increase this year of an additional $10,000 to bring it up to $30,000. And I can tell you, we just ran a report last week, and since last April, we have given out $51,000 in scholarships. Most of that is for summer camp, close to $40,000 in scholarships for summer camp. And I think Ben ran a report, and I think it was 44% of families that participate in our summer camp program are on some type of financial assistance.
Do you actually what kind of a form do they fill out when they're requesting it?
Yes, they do have to fill out a form. They have to show us their tax returns. And we have in our Discover brochure, we align ourselves with kind of the federal standard based on income and the number of people in the family. So it's pretty structured.
Okay. Thank you. Did they cut that?
No.
No,
No.
they passed it.
No, they supported it.
Okay. You gotta keep your head just like it is, because when you move, the sun comes through the window behind you.
Me
Mr.
or
Barry.
oh,
No,
Mr.
Oh,
Perry?
okay.
Mark,
I'm like,
I can,
Mark is
I
a ray
turned
of
my
light.
computer so you wouldn't have.
yes,
You
it's,
look like
it's
this.
the halo.
that's
Yeah.
just a,
I can pull the shade if that's, if you'd like.
Oh,
It's like you're
can't see you.
hey, you know what? We're here to recommend to the whole RTM what the number should be here. So we should move and vote on that, I think. Is that correct?
I would move the number of $2,426,709.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Well, I'm gonna second the number, so go ahead.
You second it, and then I can ask a question. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that's just part of your budget, right?
Well, this is the tax supported portion of the budget. There are two other budgets, separate budgets. Both of those are special revenue funds that have no impact on taxes. But this 1064 is the one budget that is funded through tax dollars.
Okay, I feel like I'm talking to God.
That's what I said. He's Jesus. The light. You might
we
want
still-
to pull your curtain, Mark.
All right, hold on just a second and I'll go pull the curtain.
Oh, no, you're doing better. God.
No, but it's
Oh,
like it's
Yeah,
kind of
I'll pull the curtain.
that. You know what? I was gonna have the same thing, and I had to turn my computer around. I'm like, I can't sit that way because I would have the same view.
How's
How do you
that?
say no- How do you say no to God?
All right, I'll go pull the curtain back again.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody have anything else on this account? Can we vote on it? Okay, so all in favor, either wave your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so
Done.
we're moving right along.
Exactly.
That
I'm
part is done. The next part of the budget is it's the golf course. This is that other one of those three, Leanne, that you were referring to, I guess.
Okay.
And here again, I can say that the town council just, well, actually, it's a little bit different, isn't it, than the town manager's number? No, anyways, the town council just basically passed it on unscathed. Is that right, Mark?
That is correct, yes.
And it was $1,620,601.
Correct.
That is the number. And I'll let you speak to this, Mark. There'll be some discussion under CIPs probably after. But go
Okay.
ahead.
So as I said earlier, this is a special revenue fund, so there's no impact to tax dollars. The greens fees and the seasonal pass memberships that we collect pay for all personnel and operating expenses.
Mhm.
And, you know, some of the increases this year were due to collective bargaining agreements, increase in overtime. You know, the town just updated the part-time and seasonal pay plan, so that also had an impact on the budget. We found over the last couple of years that we weren't competitive with what other communities were paying their seasonal employees, so the HR department revised the plan and put us in a more competitive position.
Good.
So Eric, do we have a dog anymore?
What?
We do.
We do?
To patrol the course?
Because I remember we had a dog at one point. It was a border collie. I mean, to chase the geese off the greens.
Correct.
We
What-
still
what-
have one?
What do we have?
We have a border collie.
Still a border collie. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that like a service provided from somebody on the outside, or I know that across the street, Leanne, in our neighborhood, there's a person that brings their border collie there to run around the fields quite often just to keep the geese from, you know, congregating up in the field because it was goose poop everywhere before that.
Yeah, golfers don't like goose poop on the greens.
Yeah, no, the goose poop, like they will poop, 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 poop forever, but
Well, this is a town owned.
this
Do
is
you
a,
have it with you? Is it at your house, Eric?
It is, yes.
I mean, it's just like a police dog is, I think. It goes home with who it works with. Isn't that a fair assessment?
Well, we
Yes,
better
that's
keep-
correct.
who knew? I didn't know that. Good to know. I mean, it's great, I think.
It's pretty cool to see. I've seen it before when it doesn't have to slow down too much for the dog to hop off the golf cart. I remember that. So,
No,
And it's a humane way to manage the geese.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I cannot disagree.
there's, okay, so, do you have anybody else from the staff have anything they want to add or do that? I mean, would somebody just like to move the number that the council passed? There's only 3 of us here, so.
I could move the number of $1,620,000 and 601.
I
just
second.
Okay.
So who's second? Leanne, you second this one or I?
I seconded.
I did. I seconded.
Okay, so Leanne, we gotta mix it up a little bit, When I go
Nice.
back to the RTM, I have to mix up the names a little bit,
Mm.
Anyways, does anybody have anything else they'd like to ask about it or talk about? All right, all in favor, either wave your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that passes 3-0. Unanimous, this sounds better than 3-0. Okay, this is the third account before we talk about CIPs, which is I'm sorry, I can't say senior center. Thrive 55, is that the right way of saying it, Mary Jo?
Survive 55.
Oh, Thrive 55.
Aye.
Okay, I guess I could have just read it. It's right here in front of me. Anyways, this, as the other 2 accounts we've already talked about, went through the town council unscathed. So, depending on what you folks want to do, it's pretty much an easy account in my opinion. But do you want to talk about this at all, Mark? I mean, why don't I just move the number first, and the names will all be mixed around then. I'm going to move $1,343,185.
Second,
Who seconded it? Kristen?
Chris.
Okay. So our number is on the number is on the floor that's in the book here. Does anybody, I mean, somebody want to summarize? I mean,
How much do they,
Sure.
how much do they contribute down at the senior center for this amount? Or is this totally a taxing amount?
No, so the funding for the special revenue fund is the program fees that are charged for programs.
Okay.
And this covers instructor fees, printing of the Discover brochure, all the expenses associated with running programs and special events.
Okay,
food?
So there's no impact to on taxes.
Hmm,
It's simply what people pay for program fees.
Okay.
we couldn't do anything but say yes to that then.
Of course.
Okay, so is that what you're saying? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? All right. Perfect. So Mary Jo can go home now. Eric can go home.
Have a good night, Mary Jo.
Thanks, everybody.
I think Tabitha can leave too if you want. We're going to go into capital. Maybe maybe we need to stay. You guys need to stay for that. I'm not sure. We have 8 CIPs to talk about. The first one of which is on page 221.
Oh my.
And I'm just going to let Mark talk about them, or one of your staff people, Mark, it's up to you. I'll say that this first one, as these other three accounts, was passed by the town council, what was proposed for this year, which was, that's 3-0, so it's $43,000 from, for this first CIP, but why don't you say something about it, Mark, for,
Okay, so the $43,000 consists of two different projects. One is hopefully everyone remembers, we did a recreational needs assessment in 2022, which was part of the recreation master plan, which was being updated. That was completed in 2023. And one of the things that we heard from residents was they wanted improvements to the park facilities, enhancements such as bike racks, picnic tables, benches, and things like that. So we propose to put $15,000 towards installing new benches in parks where we don't have benches now, and replacing benches where, you know, they have deteriorated to a point where they need to be replaced. And that was all part of the recreation master plan. There was a level of service analysis. So somebody went out and physically visited every single park and gave the different amenities a score of 1, 2, or 3, 1 being the worst, 3 being the best. And so this is a small step towards starting to address what the community has said they want to see in our parks. The other part of the $43,000 was $28,000 for surveying and engineering plans, permitting and bid documents, and construction monitoring for the boat ramp at Parizzotti Boat Launch, which is in the Calvin Burrows baseball field. The problem with that boat launch is it's too short, and boaters that are trailering a boat, they get to the end of the ramp and there's like a drop off down, and it's causing problems with the trailers because the drop off is like 8 to 10 inches. And what we need to do is that ramp needs to run longer into the water so that we avoid that situation. So, and that was prompted by, again, the recreational needs assessment. One of the things that the community said they wanted was improved access to natural bodies of water. So by improving the boat launch so that boaters can get in there easier without damaging their trailers and their boats. So this is a step towards that. And the council approved both of those items.
it's more than 8 inches or 10 inches. I launch an inflatable there once in a while.
Okay.
It's not the kind of place you're gonna be launching a 24-foot boat,
No,
but
no.
it's certainly great for small boats and, you know,
Mhm.
certainly kayaks and all that sort of stuff. It's a nice way to avoid all the hustle and bustle of going through a big boat launch down a Bavery Lane, that's for sure.
I can't see you, hon. That's all right.
All right, this was $43,000. I'm gonna move the $43,000.
I would second.
Second,
So who won that one? I'll give it to Leanne. How's that?
There you
okay.
go.
Okay. Are we all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, so that's a 3-0 too. All right, thank you, Mark. The next
Sure.
one is, actually one that the town council don't know the rationale for that, but it's on page 222. It's actually one that was, we talked about this, Mark, because I called you. This is the one because I asked if we were giving up our 80-20 match from the state, and what you said was is probably not gonna come around until next year, early anyways, and you can apply then early next year or so. The council took the 25,000 out of that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so
You can
we had
probably say a lot
asked,
better than-
we had asked for $25,000 to be used as a match.
Yeah,
And we specifically for recreation trails grant, and that's a grant through the state, DEEP, and it's an 80-20 match. So we put in 20%, the state matches with 80%. The council did cut that. They didn't want to commit to $25,000 at this point because the next round of applications will probably not be available until next February or March. And so the council said, well, if we get the grant, then come back to us and we can have a discussion about coming up with the $25,000. So they were just kind of deferring the $25,000 out a year, or until the next round of recreation trails grants come out.
well,
Can
you
I
said
ask
it a
you a
lot
question?
more understandable than me. Oh, go ahead, Leanne.
When you put in for a grant, do you have to show that you have the matching money?
Actually, I checked with Tabitha on that because that question did come up and she confirmed that no, you don't need the match. You don't need to show the match up front.
Okay,
Hmm.
Because that was a concern. We didn't want to jeopardize not being able to
Right.
submit the grant if we couldn't show that we had the $25,000, or if we didn't have the match.
Okay, so for us now, do we have to actually vote on a zero number to be in line with whatever the council did, or can we just not do anything for this particular account?
Yeah.
it would only be
I don't
if we,
know.
I think it's only if we increase it. If we would put a number in, we'd have to vote on it.
Well, we can't increase it because,
No,
you
Harry,
know what I'm gonna do? The minutes are gonna say that by unanimous consensus, the zero number sounds good. How's that?
that's fine. I was
And
just,
then-
I agree. I mean, because
That way there's
wait,
no vote, but we've taken some sort of action.
we're deferring like council did, right?
Yeah, yep, I do that for adjournment a lot. Unanimous consensus, we're adjourned. Okay, so the next one, we don't have to do anything, Mark. Is that correct? Correct, on page 223?
This is the golf course improvement.
Yeah.
Is this, this is the one where, yeah, go ahead. I'll mess it up if I say anything. Oh, go
Okay.
ahead.
So we had originally proposed to the town manager a budget of $629,000 to make renovations to the golf course. The town manager zeroed that out. The golf course went back to the council and submitted a proposal that we would use $200,000 from golf course fund balance to continue the renovations on the golf course. And the council approved the $200,000. So I think this evening, depending on the will of the subcommittee, you would be hopefully approving the $200,000 in fund balance.
you have enough to do both things that you want to do with your fund balance?
Yeah, so over the last few years, our fund balance has grown so that we can afford for this year to expend $200,000 out of that fund balance to continue the renovations on the course.
What's your next project?
So we'd be looking at the bunkers on the 2 and 7 green, and bunkers have historically been one of the items that consistently scores low when we do our golfer satisfaction survey. So that's been a focus. The bunkers have been a focus over the last 4 or 5 years. And it would also include renovations on the 3T and fairway bunkers on 5, 6, and 7. And all of these came from recommendations from a master plan that was done a number of years ago. And over the years, you know, we have focused on those recommendations.
Can I ask a question that isn't pertinent to that, but how we doing on getting the bathroom that's supposed to be going up on the golf course?
I believe they're going through the permitting process now because it's in the city. We have to go through the city permitting process. And the last time that I spoke with the Public Works Director, I think we were anticipating going out to bid sometime in the summer, and construction would take place or begin in the fall. And that also included renovations to the maintenance building. I think putting a new shell on the maintenance building because there are a number of holes in the building.
When you get, can I ask one more question?
Go
No.
for it.
When you get done roofing the building next to par 4, is that gonna be scraped and painted?
The roof. Are you talking
thought-
about the old the cart building? The small
the-
building that's,
When you're facing par 4 from the street, there's a building
Yeah.
to the,
yep.
Hmm.
I don't know that they're, and I don't know if Eric is still on the line. Yeah, it looks like he is. I'm not aware that there's a project scheduled for that particular building.
Ask the golf
thought I
course
saw-
liaison when we get to it. No, you
Yeah, it
gotta be
looks like
careful,
Eric
Leanne,
is,
it's a special meeting.
There's no project for the cart building right now.
yeah, I didn't think so.
oh.
Leanne,
got-
Leanne, we have to be careful. This is a special meeting. We're talking about stuff not on the agenda. Just, but you'll get a chance to ask the question when our liaison person comes back to report from the golf committee. No. All right, I'm gonna move $200,000 to be taken from the golf course fund balance, as you call it, Mark. Is that correct?
Yes.
For this. Well, we have to wait for Kristen to come back. Or she's letting the dog out.
Oh, I'm right here. I'm sorry. Ooh.
Yeah, I
Oh.
moved the $200,000 to come from the fund that balance to do work on, I think it was a couple of sand traps and tees, as I recall.
Yeah, it
Somebody like
was
to,
bunkers on 2 and 7 green and renovations on the hole 3T and fairway bunkers on 5, 6, and 7 is what's proposed.
yeah, our bunkers are tired. Is somebody gonna second? Did you second it, Kristen?
I will second it. Yep.
Okay. All in favor of the 200,000? Say aye or wave your hand or something.
Aye.
Okay, that passes 3-0. I'm gonna look at my paperwork. It's page 223. We're going to 224.
Or
And this one is the town council okayed what was put in here for.
I'm listening. I'm just walking here. Ooh.
Yeah, and I had a question about when we get to this anyways, but this was for basically. Go ahead, Mark. Why don't you just say it, or unless
Sure.
Tabitha wants to say something. She hasn't said anything all night.
So this project was to improve accessible routes to various recreation facilities. We've identified a number of different parks: Paquonic Plains Park, Raheem Carter, Mystic Academy, Esker Point Beach, and Woodcrest Park. And this is to improve, like I said, accessible routes. We, in 2013, we had a consulting group come in and look at all of the different recreational facilities and do an assessment of their accessibility. And we have slowly been working to meet those recommendations. We've, for example, made improvements to, made renovations to the bathrooms at Esker Point Beach in order to make those accessible. We're about to start on a project at Calvin Burrows sometime in July or August to make renovations to the concession stand and to the bathrooms to make those accessible. And I'll give you, for an instance, right now, there are bleachers out at Pequannock Plains that look out onto the football field. Somebody in a wheelchair and walker can't get out there. So we're looking to make an accessible route out to the bleachers because
Nice.
folks with mobility challenges have the same rights and should be able to have access to those facilities. And we've done.
Boy, haven't I learned that this last month, Mark.
Yeah, and we've done
learned
some.
that this last month.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right.
Because you mentioned earlier today that you've been using a walker, and we've made renovations. Last year, we worked with the Public Works Department and made renovations out at Sutton Park, dedicated handicap parking spots and an accessible route to the bleachers at both fields. So
All right.
this is something that we've been doing over the years and are going to continue to do.
Very important work.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. Mystic Academy, is that the Mystic Academy? That's the, oh, it's
Yeah,
a,
that's the playground on, I think it's High Street.
okay.
Don't
So
hold
you,
me.
okay, that's down in the field there. Mystic Academy, I can remember when it was a school. The
Oh,
Mystic
yeah.
Academy building per se,
Yeah,
I know where you mean now. That place that's been there a long time.
yes. A lot of our playgrounds have been there for a long time.
You gotta go grab the one at Claude Chester and put it somewhere.
Mm.
Oh,
Well, actually, yeah. The one at Colchester, two of the three aren't worth investing money in.
all right, well. I'm trying not to digress because Leanne will yell at me. So.
Was going through my mind.
Okay. Okay, so the number in the budget that the council has passed on to us is $40,000. If somebody'd like to move that, or an alternate number that they would prefer to offer, so.
I would move 40,000.
Second,
All right, all in favor, aye.
All right.
I,
Abstentions? All right. So, yeah, I'm writing notes because I got to present all to the RTM. The next one is on page 225, and we're down to, how many more we got? That could be it. 225. I think the
Okay.
council zeroed this one out, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, this is for a net to protect people or something was part of it, but I'm gonna let Mark or somebody speak to it, but I do know the council.
Which one are you talking about? Athletic field development, the E?
Yes, it's
I don't-
on page
I don't see
225.
that, I don't, oh, the council zeroed that?
Yes,
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. All right. Okay, go. Sorry.
there's
Not
nothing to say that we can't put the money back or recommend putting the money back.
Yeah,
But
no,
I do-
I confused myself. It's all good.
Yeah, I think if we did that, I think that the RTM would have to approve it by 2/3, but I'm not positive with that. We're just making a recommendation to the RTM anyways. It's what this
Okay.
committee would like to do. So
I was looking at the wrong page here, so I
that's okay.
got myself screwed up here. I'm good.
So
I mean, you want,
can I
you want,
just give a little, explanation of
absolutely.
what?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had proposed $20,000 in order to put safety netting behind the lacrosse goals and the soccer goals on Field 1 and Field 2 at Pequannock Plains Park. There's a walking path that is not too far behind those goals. And there's also a parking lot. And the Groton Youth Lacrosse brought to our attention, they had a concern over the safety of both vehicles and people walking behind behind those goals. And so we had proposed to put up safety netting, which I think was about 14 feet high and about 60 feet wide, in order to catch either lacrosse balls or soccer balls that were errant and missed the goal, which does happen. But the council made the decision to cut that $20,000 from the budget.
So what would we like to do here or recommend? Do you
Well,
know how hard a lacrosse ball is?
uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. Soccer ball, I guess I can live with, but a lacrosse ball is like a rock.
Well, how often does this kind of problem happen? Like, just curious.
Well,
Had
um,
instances that have raised this as a issue, I guess. I
I
don't
think
know.
how
Well,
often it happens is not probably as important as how much it would hurt somebody and the town would be liable.
No
You know what
doubt,
I mean? I'm sure it happens a lot, but
doubt, and the type of netting would have to be pretty strong and small little like squares. I mean, a lacrosse ball is pretty hard and it's fairly small and it would hurt.
and the netting is designed specifically for this type of use.
Yeah, okay.
There would be the base of the pole would be set in the ground, and the poles would slide into a sleeve in the ground. They would not stay up all the time. We'd have them up during lacrosse season. We'd have them up during soccer season.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that the Groton Youth Lacrosse brought it to our attention is that I'm not aware of anybody that's been hit, but I'm sure, I suspect that they have seen a number of close calls, and brought that concern to me, and it sounded pretty legitimate. So we proposed putting the netting up to prevent an accident from happening.
Does that include installation, the 20,000? Or is that
Yes.
just,
Yep. Oh,
And
no, that includes installation.
So that's something that could be put up during the season and stored and then put
Yes,
up here. I mean, it's
that's correct. Yeah, that's our intention.
like
It
it
would not
might-
stay up all the time.
It sounds like, I don't know, when you say no, don't do it, guaranteed that something might happen. I don't know.
I would prefer to take it to the entire RTM.
I agree, Leanne. I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Because there's probably an accident waiting to happen and it, whether it's a person or a vehicle or something, I wouldn't think of it like just on the fly, but given the amount of games and everything that goes on down there, it's probably not a bad idea.
so would somebody like to move that we would like to reinstate the $20,000 into this and let the RTM decide what they'd like to do?
Sounds good. I second that.
I would do it in a second and yeah, let's
Okay, the minutes are gonna say that
discussion.
Kristen moved it
Yeah.
and
I
Leanne
moved it
seconded it.
because I think not a bad idea. I mean,
I
lacrosse
mean, it's
ball,
probably gonna-
is painful. I've been hit by one, so,
If,
and
if we go along and say zero, not gonna be any RTM discussion at all about it. If we say to reinstate it, at least the RTM will have the discussion.
right, we'll let the majority.
Okay. So all in favor of putting the 20 grand back in there? Aye,
Aye.
say aye, aye. Okay. Now I'll have to look up to see, or I'll ask my next door neighbor, JC Amwas is my next door neighbor. Whether we have to get, whether 2/3 vote is required or not for that, Mark, I don't know. It could be different for CIPs. And we have 3 more CIPs, but all 3 of them are zero. Does that sound right, Mark?
That is correct. The No Ink Neighborhood
to-
Park, the aquatics feasibility study, and
Oh, that one makes me mad.
and the playground replacement were all zeroed out.
Where was
Okay.
where was the replacement that you were projecting for the playgrounds? Anybody?
That was at Sutton Park. And I think that got zeroed out because the town is looking at other funding sources. I think something was submitted through our state representative to the bond council to see if we could get some money through the bond fund in order to pay for that.
So Mark, these were actually, these are not zeroed out by the town council. These are what the town manager is.
Yes, that is correct. They were zeroed
town
out by the
managers.
town manager.
So
and
there's really nothing that we can do.
Right.
Except for say, we read it and yeah, it's zero. There's nothing we can do. So
GHI.
does that make sense? All right. So Leanne, thanks for saving us tonight, Leanne.
Thank you.
And
You're very welcome.
we actually had a meeting that was on a whole 33 minutes to get this stuff done. So I'm gonna say as I have before that, thank you everybody, and I'll present this at the RTM when I need to, and we are adjourned by unanimous consensus unless I see somebody saying no. Okay, then we're adjourned.
Good night, Ben.
Thank
Feel
thank you
well,
all.
Hope you
everyone.
feel better.
Good night.
Harry, I hope your back's better.
Definitely
it's-
better.
Everybody heal up. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Mark. And
No,
thank
I
you.
actually gonna
All
get
right.
better. I'm gonna be
Okay.
like Kristen's husband, running around like a crazy man.
He's
I mean,
still
the good
not
thing-
home. I made all this dinner. He's still not home. Whatever.
Well, I can come over and have something. I'm
Yeah,
I
just-
got
you can always come over. Look, we got spaghetti. Leanne, you
I,
can do spaghetti.
the good news is I'm suffering and I had surgery and everything, but I'm gonna be okay again.
You
Good.
As long
are.
as I,
good.
Okay.
as long as I listen to the PTs and all that.
Yeah, behave
All right.
yourself.
I'm gonna sign off so I can go have my dinner.
There you
All
go.
Yeah, go ahead,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you. Good night,
All
everybody.
right.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tabitha and Ben. Bye.